To create price lists for groups, and not only groups of customers but also groups of items. But let's start with the customer price groups. So customer price groups are used to group customers and assign special prices to a group. So the first thing that we need to do is create these customer price groups. So I will use the search function and search for customer price groups. There we go. And let's create the first one. So I will create retail and wholesale. So the first one is retail. And just like for an individual customer, you can also specify the price calculation method. But also here, because in the base application there is only one method, I can just stick to blank because lowest price is already configured in the sales and receivables setup. Furthermore, you can specify if you want to assign discounts to a price group. So maybe you only want to create special prices for a customer price group without discounts, and which means that you could clear these fields, but I will just leave them selected. Okay, let's create a second line. So wholesale. And there we go. You can of course create a third one, a fourth one, so as many as you need, but I will work with these two. Okay, so these are my customer price groups, and now we can create sales price lists. And you could do this from the general search function, but I can also click here on navigate and go to the sales price lists. And so there's no sales price list displayed because we don't have a price list yet for any of these customer groups, so which means I will create a new one. All right, so this is similar to what we did for the individual customer in the previous unit. So I will assign a number, and let me just call this prices retail. So this is my sales price list for the customer group retail. And because we opened the price list from the customer price group page, it's automatically filtered here on retail, as you can see. So my description is prices retail. And this is a price list that I would like to use for a whole year. So my starting date is January 1st and the ending date is December 31st. Okay. So for the rest, you can set the same options here on the header, like we already saw. And in my previous examples, I have used the suggest lines function to insert lines, which is very easy to use and a very useful function. But of course, you can also enter lines manually. And let's enter a few lines manually here. So and here you can see all the different product types. So we do not only have item, but we can also set up price lists for resources and even for GL accounts if you want. But also in this case, let's just use item. Then product number, let's search for a few items. And here on the first line, let me use the Paris guest chair 1900S. There we go. And then you can set your conditions if you want. But in this case, let's just leave it without any minimum quantity condition and so on, and just enter the unit price manually. Now, the standard unit price for this item is 192.80. So let's set a unit price of 180. So retail customers need to pay a bit less for this item. Let's do the same for a second item. So let's take the London swivel chair. And it's quite similar, so it has the same price. So also here, I would like to use 180. So and this is my price list for the retail customer price group. It's a very simple one, but what I've done now is create lower prices for these two items. And so for every customer that belongs to the retail customer price group can get these lower prices. If you go to customers, and if I open, for example, customer 10,000, Here on the Invoicing Fast tab, there's the customer price group field. And for example, this customer is a retail customer. Notice that you can only select or assign one customer group to a customer. So it's limited to one group for each customer. Now, besides grouping customers for prices, you can also do this for discounts, like you can see here. And you can also group your items for discounts. Let's see how this works.